afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. I have got a little bit of a grocery haul for you today. The reason why I say a little bit of a grocery haul is because this is not a full week's worth of shopping. I wish it was a full week's worth of shopping, but I'm going to keep it real. Kev gets paid in the middle of the month, so we haven't been paid since 2 weeks before Christmas. And, you know, most people have been paid since Christmas, and we're still waiting. And the funds in the bank are dwindling by the day. So I didn't have £200 spare to spend on food alone, which is what I usually spend around about that a week. So I've had to go shopping, and I've had to be really mindful over what I've picked up. I haven't been as mindful as I could have been. When I was going to the tills, I was thinking, oh, do you know what, actually I could have not picked that up, and I could have not picked that up. But in my defence, I was shopping with both of the girls, which, you know, anyone that shops with children will know how difficult that is on its own. But what was also difficult is the prices have crept up again. Now, please let me know if you've noticed this week in any of the other supermarkets, because obviously I only shop for my main shop in Sainsbury's, so I'm really aware of all the prices. I know how much my regular items cost. Well, let me tell you, today several things had gone up by 20 pence. One of those things was squash. Usually the bottles of quadruple squash are £2.20. Now I remember them being £1.80, then I remember them being £2, then I remember them being £2.20, now they are £2.40. And what was the other thing I definitely noticed? Oh, cheese. I didn't buy the cheese that I noticed the price increase on, and that was because this cheese was on Nectar price. You do get a couple grams less, not a couple grams, I think 50 grams less, but it's a nicer cheese and was cheaper on Nectar. So this block for 350 grams was £3 on Nectar, and my usual my usual block of West Country cheddar is £3 for 400 grams. However, it's now £3.20 for 400 grams, so that's gone up 20 pence. The girls asked for smoothies, and I said yes before I even got to the smoothie aisle. So these cost £2.50 on Nectar deal, which I just thought was wow. But like I said, I'd already said yes before we even got to the aisle. But let me finish setting up what I've bought, and then I'll go through it with you, and then I will tell you what prices I can remember as we go. But yeah, there was definitely some price hikes going on today, and like I say, having to shop on a budget wasn't easy at all. So frozen things first, I picked up a box of these jacket potatoes. I'm trying to lose the weight I gained over Christmas, and let me tell you, it was quite a lot. So I've got a little way to go. But these were, I think, £1.60. They take 6.5 minutes in the microwave. Just an easy go-to grab, chuck some beans, chuck some tuna on, nice easy lunch. So I've got those. I've also got some sliced leeks, because I was thinking if I go and buy a bag of potatoes from the farm shop, I could do a potato leek, and I've got some bacon left in the fridge, so I could do like a potato bacon leek bake. They were £1.50 for a big bag of frozen leeks, which is actually cheaper than buying the fresh ones. So they're a good buy on their own anyway. These were a really good buy. These lightly spiced McCain wedges are currently on Nectar for £1.31, which, if you know how expensive like convenience food is these days, that's really quite cheap. So one of the meals I'm doing is going to be gammon, wedges, eggs, like gammon, chips and beans and egg, but with wedges because they were cheaper than chips. And I've got the gammon for that already. So another thing is I'm trying to use what we've got this week without making it too boring. So yeah, one of the things will be gammon, which I've already got, and there's the wedges. This is one of the items I really didn't need to pick up. This was an influenced by Sienna. Sienna picked these up, or she actually picked up a bag of the branded Bird's Eye ones, And I said, oh no, those ones are better value. You get double the amount and they're £3.40 something. I didn't really need them. I could have gone without them because we don't really eat convenience food. I'm not sure why my camera keeps flashing, so I'm going to go off and come back on again. My gym card had slipped up inside the case where I keep it and was covering up 2 of the lenses. So that's why it was flashing. So apologies for that. What was I saying? Yeah, I really didn't need to buy the chicken dippers. We don't really eat a lot of convenience food. So I could have done without those. That would have saved me £3.50. Yorkshire puddings for roast dinner on Sunday. Could have made Yorkshire pudding mix myself, which would have saved me a few pence. But these are less than £1, probably cheaper than mixing up Yorkshire pudding mix. I've got peas because I think we're out of those in the freezer. Again, I think we're out of. Really should have checked before we went, but the Stamford Street ones are dead cheap. So that's all I bought for frozen items. On to fresh items, I've got some of these chicken breast mini fillets. This is 640 grams, and it was £5. I could have bought 3 chicken breasts, which was the same weight, for £4.42, but the mini fillets are much nicer, and they're going with the mini fillets I've actually got in the fridge left over from yesterday's dinner. So yesterday we had chicken curry, and turned out that Jamie, Brooke, Reese, Bella, Summer, they were all not in for dinner. So I said to Kev, you won't need to use that whole 1 kilogram. So he used about 2/3 of it. And then tonight I'm going to make a chicken halloumi sticky rice recipe that I've seen. And what's left chicken whites isn't going to be enough. So I've just added the same thing on top. And I'm hoping that's going to be really nice because it looks really yummy. And let's hope it tastes as good as it looks. I've got a 1 kilogram of mince. That's going to make cottage pie. We're going to have that tomorrow night. I've got 3 packs of sausages. These are going to do a sausage casserole, which I'll probably do in the slow cooker in the week. And then we've got 2 things of puff pastry in the fridge that are about to go out of date. So I picked up a sausage meat so that we can make some sausage rolls. That was £2.25, but like I say, it will use up the pastry that otherwise it's going to end up going in the bin. And then we went into the yoghurt aisle, and these were on offer for £2.50. Now, Sienna asks for these every week, and I always say I don't buy them unless they're on Nectar price, because they are usually £4, which is extortionate, I believe. But when they're on Nectar, £2.50. So yes, we ended up with those, which again, we could have probably done without. We've got some Munch Bunch yogurts and some Petit Flus. The girls eat these during the day. Whenever they say to me, I'm hungry, I always say yogurt or fruit. Like, you're not having anything else. It's nearly tea time, or you've just had your lunch, or, you know, you've just had your breakfast. I always say you can have yogurt or fruit. So these do get eaten throughout the day. 2 packs of cheese strings. They're currently on Nectar for £1.25. Just 1 packet of these Fridge Raiders. Bought 2 packets of these last week, and Sienna, because that's Sienna's request. Sienna was like, can you get those little chicken things again? So I bought 2 packets. They have eaten them all, but then Sienna said to me, I don't actually know if I do like them or not. And Felicity piped up and said, I like them, so that's why I've only got 1 pack, which seems not a lot when you've got as many children as we've got. But to be honest, all of this sort of thing, the older ones don't touch it. They all earn their own money. They're buying much more exciting things, you know, in Greggs and Subway and such throughout the day. Obviously, I've already talked about these at £2.50 and this at £3. Sienna asked for... There's a lot of me saying Sienna. A lot of this is Sienna influenced. She asked me for this. I did try to say to her, let's just get the singular packet of Pepperami for £1. This was £2.25. But she was saying, but I like this chorizo as well. And in the end, I thought, okay, well, if you're going to eat it, that's fine. And they want to make pizza wraps for lunch using that. Got some butter, got some of this tikka chicken for Riley. I got him the hot and spicy one the other day. He is an absolute nightmare for not taking lunch to school and then coming home absolutely starving and trying to eat everything that's in sight. And it's always, you know, like if you're hungry, you're not going to pick up a healthy item. You know, if you're starving, you're not getting yourself an apple. You're getting yourself whatever sugary sweet treat you can find. So I have this conversation with Riley multiple times a week about him making himself lunch. He's almost 13. He is more than capable of making his own lunchbox to go to school. It is purely down to just can't be bothered. Just typical teenage, almost teenage boy attitude. So I've been buying him this because he quite likes this and he can make himself sandwiches or wraps. However, yesterday he ate almost the entire thing in one sandwich. That's £1.99. These are £1.75. Again, Riley likes these. They're one of his favourite things. And I say to him, you can cook this, you can add the sauce, you can put it in one of the many hot flasks that we own, and you can take it to school. However, that is far too much work for a almost 13-year-old boy. So I've got two of those. So the option is there for him to do that for lunch over the weekend or on like Monday and Tuesday before I go shopping again. Felicity got quite a liking for brie over Christmas. And when we're having like cheese and biscuits, this was something she enjoyed the most. So I've picked her up a brie. They are quite reasonably priced. I think it was less than £2. Not much over £1.50. I think it was around the £1.60 mark. So she can have that with some crackers. And then I picked up 2 things of Yazoo milkshake and 2 things of milk. So that is everything I got for fresh and frozen. Obviously, you can decide what things. I mean, you don't need to tell me. I already know. But there is things there that we could have done without when you're trying to stick to a budget. But this is what I ended up with on the fresh and frozen front. Then on to cupboard items. I've got some salad cream. I've got a very large bottle of Thai sweet chilli sauce. This bottle was £3 and the smaller bottles were like £1.50, so it was actually cheaper to buy a massive bottle. I've got some chocolate spread because we ran out of that this morning. I've got 1 tin of tomato soup for Sienna to have for lunch over the weekend. Apple sauce to go with roast pork. I have a joint of pork in the freezer, so this will be the last joint of meat that I bought when they were half price at Christmas, that we're going to have this Sunday. So that's helped me out a little bit, having that put aside. I knew there was a reason that I struggled to fit everything in the freezer, but made the best of the half price joints of meat offer. I knew I would thank myself for it in the end, and I definitely am today. I've got some breadsticks for, you know, when the girls are saying, I'm hungry, I can go have a breadstick. I then bought these. I don't usually buy anything like this. Go Squeeze. And they caught Felicity's eye and she said, Mummy, my friends had these in their lunchboxes at school and they're really nice. And they were on Nectar for £1.75. I definitely wouldn't pay what they are full price. They are really expensive and they are literally just, pureed fruit. Apple and mango. Again, didn't need to buy that, but influenced by a child. And looks like they've already had one each of those since we've got home. I picked up 2 of these jars of cranberry and chipotle chutney. They were reduced to 18p, so they're in date until 2026. So I picked 2 of those up, and they'll go in the cupboard, in the back of the cupboard, and maybe I'll remember about them next Christmas, or maybe I'll forget. But at 18p, I was like, I'll have me a couple of those. I got 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. Didn't check the cupboards overly thoroughly before I left, so I thought just pick up 2, and then you've definitely got chopped tomatoes, rather than pick up 4 and then come home and be like, oh, I didn't even need those. I got a big bag of macaroni and some cheese sauce sachets. You can guess what I'm going to be making to go with our roast dinner on Sunday. I've got super noodles, again, influenced by a child. They are on Nectar offer for 80p. Still more expensive than buying like the Aldi version or the Sainsbury's version. But again, influenced by a child. I really do need to learn how to just say no. I'm not very good at that. Did I say these? I got these to go on the filled pasta. I've got some sugar because I realised we'd run out of sugar when I realised that the caster sugar was not in the baking cupboard and was now in fact over here. sugar inside the sugar jar, which means we must have run out of granulated sugar. So I picked up some of that. I've got some basmati rice. Usually I buy the microwave rice, but the recipe that I'm doing this evening requires you to just put in the uncooked rice. So that was 99p a bag. I really wish that I could actually cook rice because it would save me a small fortune. I've got self-raising flour and plain flour because I realised that I'm out of self-raising flour completely, and used the last of the plain flour this morning making pancakes. I made these nice pancakes this morning, banana ones, fluffy ones. They were lovely. And I thought, oh, I'll make these. And then if Sienna likes them, I'll make up some more for the freezer. So they're easy to go to. Of course, Sienna did not like them. So I'm still making the thin ones for her. Felicity, in fact, liked the banana chunky ones, but said not as much as she likes the ordinary ones. So we'll just go back to making the ordinary ones. I've got some apple and blackcurrant squash, already said that that's gone up 20p, and some tea bags, 2 boxes of the Stamford Street eggs. These are mixed sizes, but if you have a little peep inside, sometimes you can get some fairly large ones, and both of those boxes are pretty good, pretty decent. I've got Cocoa Pops and Honey Nut Cornflakes. Snacky bits, I've got 2 packs of Maryland cookies, some Rich Tea biscuits, Penguins, Kit Kats and Kellogg's bars. It's actually just as cheap to buy the branded stuff if it's on a Nectar deal than it is to buy the Sainsbury's own stuff. For instance, these were £1.50 on Nectar for a double pack, and a single pack of Sainsbury's cookies is 95p. Penguins were Nectar for £1. Kit Kats were £1.65, which was a few pence more expensive than the Sainsbury's own version. But who doesn't, prefer a branded one? If it's not far off of the same price, then you might as well go for the branded one. And again, influenced by a child, Sienna asked for those. Those were on Nectar as well. Can't remember. Oh no, were they not? No, they weren't on Nectar. They were £1.20. I think if they're on Nectar, they're usually £1. White part-baked rolls. These are 2 packs for £2, and they will go with soup. I'm going to make a batch of the soup that I make that all the kids love, and then Sienna's got the tin of tomato soup because she doesn't like Mummy's homemade soup. I've got some crumpets. They were on Nectar for £1. They are super soft as well. They're really nice and fresh. And I did say to Felicity, you must make sure you remember that I bought them and eat them. Otherwise, they end up in the cupboard and nobody eats them, and then they end up in the bin. But at the moment, they're going to be tasty. They're nice and soft. I've got 1 packet of wraps, 1 packet of bagels, and 1 packet of plain white bread. So for vegetables, I've got a bag of greens, I've got a bag of ordinary white potatoes. They're just to see me through until I go up to the farm shop, where I will buy a big sack of potatoes because we go through so many of them and it's expensive to buy them now from the supermarket when we need so many. I've also got some baking potatoes, so I can do jacket potato and beans or jacket potato and tuna. But I find if you buy them in the 2 kilogram bag, you get a couple of big ones and then the rest are all tiny, unless you're lucky and they've had a good, when it's just been harvest, and then you get some good size ones. But when you get a little while past harvest, they start getting really small. So I found this time it was better to buy 3 of the really chunky individual ones. So these are the size ones you need for like your growing teenage boys and your husband. And these cost £1.13 for 3. And then the smaller bags, where you get 4, these are, can't remember how much they are. I think it's like 85p. But like I say, you get a smaller one. So this one would only be big enough for, like, say, Sienna. But we don't always have a full house of people. So there's 8 in our family, 10 if you include the boys' girlfriends. So usually we've got somewhere between 6 and 10 people in for dinner. Very, very rarely is it 10, and very rarely now is it even 8. So I've got 7 potatoes, and I will do that meal on a night that I know that we don't have as many people in for dinner. So several nights a week, Jamie works until 9 o'clock, so he gets his dinner out. Several nights a week, Reese will eat round Bella's. Several nights a week, Summer will have dance or rehearsals, and she'll get food between leaving college and going to rehearsals. So it's very rare we have a whole house of people, unless I'm cooking a roast dinner and then they're all here. But for now, as it is at the moment with them being so busy, it's hard to know how many people are going to be in for dinner. I've just noticed that there's a portion of curry from last night in the cooker. So I assume Kev dished up curry for Summer, and then Summer was at dance until half past 10 last night. So her curry's still in the oven, so that's going in the bin. It's really, really tricky, but I guess that's just what it's like when you've got lots of grown-up teenage kids and young adults that are all doing their own thing. And sometimes I think, oh my God, we've got way too much food, and then other nights I'm like, oh, there's not enough to go around. I've always got a Swede and 2 bags of carrots, mushrooms, 2 bell peppers. They're going in tonight's chicken halloumi sticky rice dish. I've got 2 ready ripe avocado, plum tomatoes, cucumbers. These are massive at the moment. I don't know where they're getting these from. It usually tells you on the label, but wherever they've got them from, they're having a really good harvest because they are massive. They are 89p, and they're as big as the large cucumbers that they charge you more for. I've got red onions, I've got some bistro salad, I've got some lemons, I've got 2 bags of Gala apples. These are currently on Nectar for 99p. Some blueberries, currently on Nectar for £1.60, and some bananas. The girls both had a banana as we were walking around the shop. And I've also got, which I missed off from the dry goods, a bag of 12 ready salted crisps. I also have some toilet roll, which has already gone up to the bathroom because we'd run out, and some laundry conditioner. I've got detergent, I just needed softener. And that, I believe, is everything. I've got my meal plan, and I've actually ended up with more meals than I'd anticipated. So this could work out in our favour and save us a few quid. It's not going to save me that few quid right now because there isn't any quids to save, but it will save us, hopefully, over the next week. And I'll explain why. It's because on a Friday and a Saturday, we get a higher colleague discount. So for anyone that is new to the channel, our eldest son works for Sainsbury's, so we get a colleague discount card. And on a Friday and a Saturday, we get 15%. So I like to shop on Fridays and Saturdays, hence why I went shopping today. And I was then planning to have to go back to the shops on Tuesday to get a small shop to last till the Friday, and then start a fresh month with food shopping budgets. So when Kev gets paid, I pay a whole month's worth of shopping budget off of a credit card. So I go through the calendar and I count how many Fridays until the next payday, and I pay that all off of credit card. Sometimes it's a 4-week month, sometimes it's a 5-week month, and those months are painful. It always feels like such a lot of money when you've got to pay off 5 weeks at a time. But I like to do that because no matter what happens through the month, I know we've got money for food. So if anything crops up, you know, my car's due to go in for an MOT in the next week or so, which reminds me I need to get that booked in. And if anything, you know, things like that crop up, then I know that the money for food is all put aside. And no matter what happens with the main bank account, we've got money for food. And for us, we find that that is our priority. So if, like I said, an unexpected bill comes along, or things get a little bit financially strained, I would rather make cutbacks on things like my gym membership, Netflix, all of those sorts of things before I'm going to start cutting back on food. Because for me, putting a wholesome, you know, healthy dinner on the table every evening and the kids having food in the house, to me is the most important thing. Underneath having a roof over their heads, obviously. So roof over your head, bills paid, food on the table. Anything else is, you know, it's by the by. If we can't have Netflix, who cares? Can't have Netflix. If we can't have a gym membership, never mind. As long as we've got the main priorities covered. So I was thinking I would need to go shopping again on Tuesday to get the dinner for Wednesday, Thursday, and, you know, just a small shop to see us through till Friday. But actually, we've got enough meals to see us through until Thursday. And if we just have a freezer dinner, you know, we'll eat the chicken dippers. Then I might not need to go to the shop for anything other than the essentials that we run out of every week, like milk and bread and toilet roll. I keep running out of toilet roll, and I know I don't buy enough, but that's because I don't have anywhere to store it. So I always think, oh, I'll just buy 4, which equals 8 rolls, and then if I need any more, I'll just grab it when I'm grabbing milk and bread. However, this morning, I've had to hold a wee, not all day, but since we ran out of toilet roll this morning, this afternoon I had to hold my wee until I got to Sainsbury's so I could use their toilet roll. So on my to-do list is to sort out the airing cupboard, which unhelpfully is in Reese's bedroom. But if I can condense it down, get rid of some of the, you know, old towels, bed sets that we don't use anymore, if I can condense that down and get it all organised, and if I can free up the very top shelf, then I'm going to bulk buy toilet roll. And there's so many places now you can bulk buy toilet roll. It would probably, in the long run, save us money as well. I mean, I only buy the cheap stuff. I don't buy any of this deluxe Andrex sort of thing. But yeah, I can potentially save us some money by bulk buying toilet roll and save myself having to hold a wee in until I've got to the supermarket. But meal-wise, we have got tonight halloumi chicken sticky rice, tomorrow cottage pie, Sunday roast pork, and then in no particular order, jacket potatoes, gammon egg and chips, and sausage casserole. So that takes me all the way to Wednesday night. So maybe we just have that freezer meal on Thursday and then go shopping again on Friday. So instead of having to take some money from payday to see us through, maybe I can just start afresh on Friday with the whole month ahead of me. It came to, the receipt is in the car. I was just searching my pockets because I'm one of those people that just shoves everything in my pockets for the receipt. And remembered that Felicity took the receipt out of the machine. I said, Lissy, where have you put the receipt? She said it's in the car. I can't be asked to go out to the car. It's freezing. But it came to £112. So I think it was 132, somewhere around that before discount. And then it came down to 112 and some pence. So my budget was 100. I was trying to do it on 100, but we went up to 112, which I don't think is actually too shabby for how much we managed to get. But yeah, like I said, had I have not bought some of those things that I was influenced by a child to buy or picked up thinking I needed it but didn't need it, and I definitely could have stuck to that £100. But yeah, that is today's food shopping video. I'm now going to finish putting away this fruit and veg, and yeah, I can't believe the time. It's not going to be long and Kev's going to be in from work. But thank you for watching today's video. Let me know in the comments if you've also noticed a hike in prices. I mean, I'm not massive for watching the news, so there's probably been talk about this and I've just missed it. But let me know in the comments, have you noticed as well? Because yeah, I definitely noticed today. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you all very soon.